It's 12:07, and this will open up the city council meeting. City clerk, can I get a call to order, please?
Councilmember Carter,
Present.
Councilmember Ellett,
Present.
Councilmember Marroquin,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Camarena,
Present.
Mayor Crenshaw.
Present.
We have a quorum.
We go ahead and stand, please. Councilmember Marquis, will you lead us in the flag salute?
Yes, please join me. Hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilmember Elliott, will you lead us in the invocation?
Certainly. Should we pray? Once again, our Father, we're so thankful for your kindness to us. We thank you for the stability, the prosperity, and the relative peace that we live in, often take for granted. We thank you for this community, El Centro. Give us wisdom, Father, and discernment and help and doing what's best, what's right, and bringing honor to you and helping our city and our citizens in this meeting. We pray this in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. City Attorney, anything to report out from closed session?
There are no reportable actions from closed session. Thank you.
The city welcomes your input for public comments. At this time, members of the public may address the city council on any matter not listed in the posted agenda. Pursuant to the Brown Act, no action will be taken on any issue brought forth under public comments. We ask that you please complete a speaker slip and submit it to the city clerk prior to the start of the meeting. Although you are not required to identify yourself, this information on the speaker slip will assist the mayor and all persons wishing to address the city council are recognized, and will also assist our city clerk in preparing the city council minutes. Unless the mayor extends your time, there will be a 3-minute time limit for each public presentation. Any information provided on the speaker slip is voluntary and will be public record. City clerk, do we have any slips?
None, Mayor.
And nothing online?
No.
Very well. Seeing that, we'll move on to presentations and announcements. And we'll, number one will be our Month of the Military Child proclamation. If I could have Cassandra Gregory step up, please.
Hi, good afternoon,
Hello.
Hi.
El Centro City Council. My name is Cassandra Gregory, and I am a resident here in El Centro. I must say that I just moved back to El Centro in May of last year, so I'm almost 1 year back, or maybe it was June. I'm not sure yet. That summer sun. When I was in Imperial Beach, which is where I came from here, I have to say I was born and raised here in the Valley, but about 10 years ago I moved to Imperial Beach I had retired County of Imperial, and I relocated because my husband was serving out of North Island Naval Base. And so I got to learn a lot in the 10 years that I was out of Imperial County, and a lot that I learned that really resonated with me was the pride that communities took, especially Imperial Beach, of our military. We do have at least 3 military bases very close in proximity there in Imperial Beach. But we also have that here. And we have a lot of military that have served and have come back and made the Valley their home. The last time that I checked with our county military veteran representative, he said that we had, if I remember correctly, over 8,000 retired military or veterans that served in the military, and that wasn't counting our Sealy base here. So I humbly come before you all to ask you to indulge me in April, first of all, being the month of the military child. And I wish we could have done this at the beginning of the month, but We're still in April, so we're still trucking along and trying to get the message out. We normally have our junior members. I'm with American Legion Auxiliary Unit 138 out of Hopeville. And we have 18 junior members who usually help us with this presentation. But unfortunately, this is our third one. And there's been a lot of school that's been missed. It's the end of the year. So I went ahead and set up the table for you all to see in the back there. And I'll explain what each item represents. Our mission. In the spirit of service, not self, the mission of the American Legion Auxiliary is to support the American Legion and to honor the sacrifices of those who serve by enhancing the lives of our veterans, military, and their families, both at home and abroad. For God and country, we advocate for veterans, educate our citizens, mentor our youth, and promote patriotism, good citizenship, peace, and security. If you notice, there's a flower pot there, and the flowers that are there are the dandelion. That's the official flower of the military child. It symbolizes resilience, adaptability, and the ability to thrive anywhere. Like dandelions that put down roots and bloom in diverse climates, military children are hardy, adapting, and with the frequent moves, school changes, and parental deployments, often bloom wherever the wind carries them. I think we can all think of somebody in our family that either was in the military, is in the military, and raising children. So I begin with the ceremony. We begin today with the ceremony to honor our military children. Our United States military members answer the call to service every day as they defend freedom around the world. That service often comes at a great sacrifice, not only to the service member, but also to their family and children. When our Air Force officer was asked what he needed in Iraq, he said, "Please don't send cookies, care packages, or socks. Just help take care of our children." Our country has always supported its military in times of war through community efforts. We have a great capacity to care for the home front. Now it is time for a new victory garden. In this garden, we can tend to the needs of the military child. Today, we would like to present to you the military child's table setting inspired by the POW MIA ceremony to honor the sacrifices and contributions of our military children. The potted flowering plant symbolizes that they may flower and flourish where planted. The hand spade or tool there recognizes that they may be transplanted to a new location, any place in the world at a moment's notice, where they become fully immersed in the culture, make new friends, and acclimate themselves to a new school. The birthday cake and unlit candles, the baseball glove and ball, and the ballet slippers represent the fact that sometimes special occasions are missed by one or both parents while serving our country. The family photo, it depicts a child, or children in this case, with their uniformed parent, represents the foundation of our country's strength. Families unified in their commitment to national security and willingness to make any sacrifice, both at home and abroad, to ensure that our flag continues to fly free. I'd like to ask you all, if you agree, to give us an amen. Amen. With that said about the flag, I'd like to share one more request. Before I do that, I do want to give recognition to the officer that is depicted in the photo. He is a native of Imperial County. He has family in Hopeville, but was raised here in El Centro. His name is Stephen Castro. He has 21.5 years of service currently in the Navy. He is an E8. He is an Air Department V2 Division leading petty officer on the USS Ronald Reagan currently. Okay. And his family follows him everywhere. So one of the other experiences that I had was participating in what Imperial Beach calls pride and military flags, or just giving each branch of the military their month's due of honor. And so when I first moved here to El Centro, I came to, we signed our paperwork and came over to do all the turning on electricity and whatever we have to do here at the city. When I was walking out of the parking lot to the car, my husband and I, we ran into Ms. Camarena. And I know Ms. Camarena because we worked together at Department of Social Services for almost 30 years. So we've known each other for quite a while. And so she knew of the work that I was involved with in Imperial Beach. And so I said, I have ideas. I want to help us be better, do better, look better. And so she said, of course. So every day, my aunt and I, we walk Main Street in the morning, for the most part, every morning. And I know that there's a wave right now to try to beautify that downtown, and I agree. And I think we're making baby steps forward. And I really, from last year to this year, I really do see an improvement, to be quite honest with you. But I did approach Ms. Camarena, and I asked her to take a trip with me to Imperial Beach and to see what I was talking about, because I told her, you know, for 6 months out of the year, each month, I said, Imperial Beach makes an effort to recognize every branch of our military by displaying their flag. Every single month, it's a different, obviously a different branch, but every branch is represented. And even on 9/11, they have what's called a honor, let me get it right, honor and freedom flag, I believe. That is displayed just on 9/11, because that is to memorize those we lost or that were affected during 9/11. So I come to you to share this information because I think that we can help beautify El Centro. And I'm willing, as a El Centro resident, I'm willing to pitch in as much as I can. We currently, my husband and I, every federal holiday, we put up flags in Hopeville around the park. We've been doing that since we came back. There's not very many federal holidays, so it's doable. I'm putting myself at your disposal to put up flags down Main Street. I think that would look beautiful, or whatever you all see fit. I see a lot of positive happening in this, in our community. I love what's happening at Buckland Park with the military. I am connected with the public service officer out of the Navy base, and we actually are invited to go May 13th to go present proclamations that we are collecting from this month to during their stand down, or their hands down, I'm sorry, during their hands down. And it sounds like they're going to have some of the family and children that reside there currently present. So that's going to be nice for us to be a part of that. So again, if there isn't any questions, that's the end of my presentation, but I do come before you to tell you that I am more than happy and eager to help you all move forward in this way. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Council, do you have questions for Sandra? No?
I'm so happy that you're here, and I'm happy for your experience in Imperial Beach, and I'm really anxious to see that come here. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Really
Imperial Beach actually calls us their sister city, because if you all may not be aware, Imperial Beach was named because Imperial Valley residents used to go vacation over there, and there were more Imperial Valley residents in the summer over there buying properties and doing whatever, that when they became incorporated, they adopted Imperial as part of their namesake. So it's Imperial Beach because it's next to the beach. So I just thought this is like a full circle thing, and I can't let this go. So glad you brought that out.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Oh, I just want to thank you. Thank you for all that you do. I see a lot that you do in the community, and thank you for everything that you do. And continue to do what you do because people see.
Good,
We
thank
enjoy
you.
it, and
Yeah.
thank you.
I appreciate you as a fellow auxiliary member,
Yes,
so
yes.
I'm always,
Thank you.
auxiliary
Thank you.
sisters are cool.
Work hard for the community.
That's right, that's right.
I just want to thank you for the beautiful presentation. It was really touching as you touched on what each object means, and I'm really excited and looking forward to working with you as part of the veteran committee that Mike and I are on, and to be able to acknowledge and help our veteran community and their families as today, we acknowledge the children who follow them and who go through their own, little episodes through all the, deployments and so forth. So it's important that we support, of course, the military and veteran, but also their family just as much.
That's
So
right.
Thank you for what you're doing.
You're welcome. I also want to give a shout out to our first responders because, I did child welfare for many years and for most of my experience with the county. And, when I first read this, I thought of us, I thought of those times that we were called out in the middle of the night and had to respond, and we had to make do with our kids. And sometimes it was somebody's birthday in the family, one of my kids, and it's just like, I'm on call, and you are aware also. And so I want to recognize you guys too. So I think it goes hand in hand.
Well, thank you. I've had a little bit of experience with Imperial Beach. Probably as a kid, my first experience is I didn't want to go over the bridge, so my parents drove me around since you're the connection to North Island. And so certainly the connection with the military at Imperial Beach is there. But I found it to be, and the Silver Strand and all that was just beautiful. So
Yeah.
we do have a proclamation for you, if I may. I'd like to read it.
Okay, thank you.
The City of El Centro proclamation for the month of the military child, April 2026. Whereas millions of American children have parents serving in our nation's armed forces, demonstrating remarkable strength and courage in the face of unique challenges. The Department of Defense has consistently acknowledged the vital role of the military child and youth. And whereas military-connected children serve alongside their parents, adapting frequently to relocations, new schools, extended separations from loved ones, while maintaining their academic progress and personal growth. These remarkable young individuals demonstrate incredible strength and courage while adjusting to new schools, new friends, supporting their families' service to our nation. And whereas the support of schools, communities, organizations is vital to the success and well-being of the military child, they are an intricate part of our community. Their strength and resilience contribute to the welfare of our nation as they face uncertainties that come with the military life. And whereas the mayor and city council members recognize and honor the contributions, sacrifices, and unwavering spirit of the military children, the month of the military child provides an opportunity to celebrate these young individuals and reaffirm our commitment to supporting their education, well-being, and future success. Now, therefore, I, Michael Crankshaw, Mayor of the City of El Centro, State of California, do hereby proclaim April 26th as the month of the military child in the City of El Centro. So,
Thank you.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Going to get council up here.
Oops, sorry, I have a big mess.
Paparazzis. That's full auto right there.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So much.
That was beautiful.
That's a wonderful way of starting off the meeting right there.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Another.
I did want to put out a note that currently our system, it's not really down, except that we have to, all of us council will have to reboot. We were sent passwords. So we will do roll call voting for all the items on hand, just so
Okay.
you know. So don't be looking at your screen because it's not going to help us.
Did we get an email or something? Or?
Did that recently come out?
We haven't because you were in closed session, so we can't, we don't have access, but
Thank
we'll reach out and we'll do it together.
Perfect.
Great.
All right. Moving on to consent agendas. We need a motion for consent agendas, items 2 through 17.
So I would like to make a motion to approve items 1 through 17 on the consent agenda.
I'll second. It's 2 to 17.
2 to 17, yeah.
Oh, 2 to 17.
Yes.
Sorry, I was like,
That's
I
fine.
wasn't at the top of the page.
So we have a motion and a second.
We'll do the roll call vote. Councilmember Carter,
Yes.
Councilmember Ellett,
Yes.
Councilmember Marroquin,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Camarena,
Yes.
Mayor Crankshaw.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
We'll be moving on to public hearings. And item number 18, Andrea Montano for public hearing regarding the ordinance extending the moratorium on tobacco retail shops.
Good afternoon, Mayor, council members. Andrea Montaña, I'm the Associate Planner. I'm here with our Planning Department. The item you have before you guys today is in regards to our current urgency ordinance that we established in 2025 in regards to a moratorium on tobacco retail shops. On April 8th of last year, the urgency ordinance was adopted to establish the 45-day moratorium on new or expanding tobacco retail shops. And on May 20th, it was extended for an additional 10 months and 45 days, which is set to expire on May 4th. So concerns with tobacco retail shops were in regards to them being could be a public nuisance and negative secondary impacts that are caused by overconcentration and proliferation of tobacco retail shops. Some items that it could have, we could have an increase in illegal activity, a decline of community character. The current zoning ordinance allows them in the downtown commercial, the general commercial, and the heavy commercial zones by right. That means there is no additional permit that they would have to do. One key thing here is a tobacco retail shop is a designation that we use more for smoke shops or a store that is going to exclusively sell paraphernalia products. So if it was going to be glass pipes, things like that, they would still fall under the tobacco retail shops. For example, like a gas station, Walmart, a convenience store that sells tobacco wouldn't fall under this designation. So the map that you guys see on the screen, that is from the California Tobacco Health Assessment Tool. So you see a lot of red dots. Those are retailers that have that are licensed tobacco retailers by the Department of Tax and Fee Administration. Of those, 7 are exclusively tobacco retail shops. So the other ones would be convenience stores, Walmart, gas stations, things like that. So the urgency ordinance that is before you today would extend the moratorium for an additional 11 months, which would expire on April 4th, 2027. This will give staff additional time to bring forward an actual ordinance changes in order to allow staff to better moderate tobacco shop. Any tobacco retailer is able to continue operating. We're not gonna all of a sudden go out and close them, but they can't expand. We're not gonna allow new ones. If, for example, someone wanted to move locations, that also would not be allowed. So where they're at, that's pretty much where they have to stay for the duration of the urgency ordinance. Like I mentioned, the moratorium was adopted to address a number of issues, including clustering of tobacco retailers in areas that are meant more for youth. So for example, in a report that we got from the police department, they noted that Kennedy Middle School has the highest concentration of tobacco retailers. They have about 4 in a 1 mile radius that that the youth could access. And like I mentioned before, this is just what we define as a tobacco retailer. This does not include other types of convenience stores or things like that that may be in that area. We have been researching different practices that other jurisdictions in California have. So some of them have limits on advertising where you can't advertise within a certain radius of a youth-oriented location. Some require formal retailer licenses with the city. What we're doing is we're continuing to review our current code with some other best practices in order to see if we can identify any gaps. For example, a gap could be including buffers to youth-oriented areas or even buffers in between other tobacco retailers. So currently, staff has met with the Community Enhancement Task Force, and we do plan to meet with them again before bringing a formal item before you for voting as it relates to any ordinance changes. So staff recommends that you open a public hearing to allow input from any members of the public. And then furthermore, introducing and approving the ordinance, the urgency ordinance for the 2016 year. I don't know if you guys have any questions for me before we do that.
Carter, Tony? Claudia?
No.
No, thank you.
So on top of some city ordinances that. it looks
Mayor
like we-
Crankshaw, I'm sorry. You need to open the public hearing, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. Now opening it up for public hearing. Seeing none, I'm now closing it. Is that correct or?
Did you go through the blues?
Yeah, but they're not for these. I was on that. There's no public comments I can see, so go ahead and close that. All right, we good?
You may close the public hearing.
Thank you. I'm learning as well, so. So I would imagine there's state statutes also that for proximities or is it all city ordinance required how close smoke shops can be and some of the, are you aware?
I'm not aware of any state statutes. I don't know that they've maybe introduced some new ones, but it really varies. All the regulations vary so wide. That's why I wouldn't even want to throw an idea out to you guys because cities, some regulate how close a tobacco product can be to a pack of gum inside the store. So it's a wide range. And I know typically cities sometimes are a little bit stricter of whatever state statute would.
And I saw that since this is an urgency, this would be an extension of an urgency ordinance that was approved, it would still take a 4-5 vote, I would imagine.
Correct.
Is that correct? Okay.
I do have a question. Just for clarification, Andrea, I just remembered that I was contacted about the, I wanted clarification because I was told that allegedly there was a smoke shop that had requested the business license, but it didn't move or anything, was in the same location, but was denied because of allegedly because of the moratorium. But that, based on what you're presenting here, that's not happening. The only time someone is denied, it's based on a new business or moving an existing business?
Correct. We
Okay.
did, I don't know what specific case you reached out to you, but we did have someone who applied for a business license that I had denied because it was a brand new location, brand new retailer.
Oh.
And we did deny that. We let them know we do have this moratorium going on.
Okay, so it's not for the existing though. So an existing
No.
person that has to renew let's say a business license for whatever reason, they would continue.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you
it
so
would
much.
just be, even if let's say our existing retailers wanted to move to a different location, that would not be allowed.
Mhm,
But whoever's operating now is able to.
where they're
operate.
at.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor, if I may, one more. I do have a question, maybe for Andrea, but maybe for our legal counsel. Does the city have jurisdiction to tax tobacco?
I would need to look into that to tell you the truth. I believe that that's under the state's control, and it wouldn't be something allowed locally, but I'd need to confirm that.
Thank you. Just a thought, possibility.
Mhm.
Thank you. You haven't heard that either, Andrea, with your experience in other cities and what they,
No, and I would probably refer that over to our city attorney for additional guidance.
okay, thank you.
Well, if no one has anything further, we'd like to get a motion.
I'd like to move that we grant the moratorium on tobacco shops as recommended.
I'll second.
Councilmember Carter,
Yes.
Councilmember Ellett,
Yes,
Councilmember Marroquin,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Camarena,
Yes?
Mayor Cranshaw.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up in public hearings is item number 19, public hearing to consider the recommendation of the Planning Commission regarding update of multifamily residential zone permitted uses. Angel Hernandez, our Community Development Director.
Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor, members of the council. The item before you is a item that was brought before the Planning Commission in January. It's a zoning ordinance text amendment, and what that would do would change the zoning ordinance to expand the allowed uses in our multiple family R3 zone. And it would allow certain commercial uses with some restrictions to operate on properties that already have a conditional use permit for another use. So some examples of those types of uses that are relatively common in our R3 zones are churches, to a lesser extent also daycare centers and private schools. And if the item were to be approved, it would allow, it would permit retail, shops, things of that ilk, specialty restaurants. An example would be like a small cafe, and small offices that do not exceed 1,000 square feet with a conditional use permit, a CUP that is approved by the Planning Commission. So just to go over that process, conditional use permit, CUP, it begins with notifying property owners of the project that have property 300 feet from the site. We have a public hearing before the Planning Commission, and that allows the Planning Commission with staff's input to implement any type of special conditions that are not normally included in our development requirements. Things could be address parking challenges, Operating hours are very important sometimes, and also aesthetics, meaning signage and things like that. So these are just examples of somewhat common conditions or item or fields of conditions that we review. And because it's a conditional use permit, it could be approved or potentially denied by a planning commission. So I just want to kind of reinforce that if the zoning ordinance that's before you, zoning ordinance text amendment that's before you is approved, it's still it's gonna get another check by project by a planning commission. So this is kind of an example just to kind of show you. So if it were to be approved, we have the primary use, which could be a church, for example, and those would already have a conditional use permit, and the zoning ordinance would allow a subordinate use, a smaller use, not exceeding 1,000 square feet, and that would also require a CUP. It would not allow just a standalone store or shop or cafe or office in a R3 zone. It would need to be as part of like a bigger development or project. So on the next couple of slides are the findings. These are the criteria that the Planning Commission and the City Council had to make to approve the zoning ordinance text amendment. First is that the proposed amendment shall be in conformity with the general plan, map, and text and other development policies of the city. So we found that it's consistent with land use goal 1, policy 1.9, to encourage the development of local serving commercial uses in proximity to adjacent residential neighborhoods that serve the day-to-day needs of all central residents. So we found that zoning ordinance text amendment that's before you would maintain the primary function of our residential zoning districts while introducing compatible commercial uses within these neighborhoods. Furthermore, it facilitates the adaptive reuse of existing developments without requiring new construction, expansion of building footprints, or conversion of residential property to commercial zones. So, for example, a church might have a break room that's not used that often, or maybe kind of a small kitchen that's not used that often. So that would give them the ability to kind of reuse that for a different purpose. And once again, it does not allow standalone commercial development in residential zone. The second finding is that the proposed amendment is appropriate for the properties or properties which would be affected by such action, with consideration given to access, size of parcels, relationship to similar or related uses, or other considerations deemed relevant by the Commission and the Council. So we found that the amendment applies citywide to all multiple family residential zone properties, but is limited to scope to accessory uses that are subordinate to an already approved conditional use. The amendment does not authorize standalone commercial development in residential zones and does not alter development standards related to height, setbacks, lot coverage, or density. Because all accessory uses would require approval of a conditional use permit, each proposal would be evaluated individually to ensure proper access, appropriate scale, and compatibility with adjacent residential uses. And the final finding is that the proposed amendment or zone change is necessary and proper at this time and is not likely to be detrimental to property or residents affected by such an action. The amendment addresses a gap in the zoning ordinance by providing clarity regarding accessory uses within institutional facilities, such as churches or daycares, located in residential zones. As community serving institutions evolve to provide accessory services, this amendment allows the city to regulate such uses through a discretionary review process. The amendment will not be detrimental to surrounding properties, as all uses will remain subject to conditions of approval intended to protect public health, safety, and welfare. So the zoning ordinance text amendment was found exempt from environmental review. We had a public hearing before our planning commission on January 20, 2026. That was noticed, and we didn't have any comments opposing the change of the zoning ordinance. And as of this date, we're going to have a public hearing today too, and we haven't received any comments regarding the project. And we do have a public hearing scheduled for this afternoon. So with that, staff recommends that the City Council open the public hearing, and after allowing public input, move forward by taking the following action by introducing and approving the draft ordinance before you. And that concludes our presentation. I could answer any questions. There aren't.
So I'm going to go ahead and open it up to public hearing. And so if there's any comments by the public, or is there any online by chance?
Nothing online, Mayor.
If no comments, then I'll go ahead and close the public hearing. And if council has any questions, Sylvia?
So, Mr. Hernandez, in the pictures, I recognize that that's a small little coffee shop that's located within a church. So, just on the block that I live on, there's a micro kitchen business. Is that also something that's considered within this ordinance, or?
No, that's
No.
that's a
I
separate
thought I had read
requirement.
something in the, yeah.
Yeah,
in the packet.
we may mention that to make a note that there's already certain businesses that are already allowed to operate residential zones, such as micro enterprise home kitchen operations, MICUs. And that's a requirement kind of provided by the state. So we brought that up to say like there's already some uses that kind of meet this requirement, but for those specific uses, they're required to be in a existing residence.
Does the city have any requests, for establishment of new businesses like this within residential zones, or we're just making it to where somebody can if they're interested?
So this is precipitated by it is a coffee shop at First Christian Church.
Yeah.
Yes, that's an example. So what they want to do kind of they provide beverages to the parishioners, and also I think to people that come by and visit the daycare, and they want to be able to expand the services more fully to the neighborhood around the area, also the offices that are in the area. So that's what initiated this. Occasionally we do have you get questions, mostly from kind of members of churches that they have some unused space that they're trying to think about what they could do with that. So let's address that.
Okay.
Yes, Angel, could you help break down for us the standalone part then that is not going to be permitted in R3?
Yes. So
It's just more than 1,000 square feet or more than that? What is it?
It doesn't matter if it's doesn't matter how small it is or how large it is. The ordinance is not going to allow just someone to buy a property in an R3 zone lot and request a conditional use permit to operate a commercial. It needs to be part of a existing use that already has a CUP. The most common example, as I kept on saying, is like a church, also some daycares.
Okay. But what was the part about less than 1,000 square feet?
Yeah, so we want to make sure that whenever we do approve these projects, they don't kind of take over the entire property, and it still needs to be at appropriate scale. So we decided that these type of uses, these accessory commercial uses, cannot go over 1,000 square feet.
Okay.
Just to make sure that there's not, there's church one day and then half of it is a restaurant.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you.
No, I thought I saw something about aesthetics or something. What does that pertain to?
Sure. So whenever we review conditional use permits, one thing that we look at is the aesthetics. I could think of regarding these type of projects, something we might be a little bit concerned about is the signage. Usually business, they want to provide a lot of signage to attract customers, but also it being in a residential area, probably surrounded by other residences, there might be additional interest to kind of mellow it down a bit, make sure they don't put excessive on the signage. So that's an example.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's basically based on whatever the project is before the planning commission.
So I would anticipate there won't be too many of these if they have to already be in an existing place, like the.
Yeah, I could think of in R3 zone lots, there's probably be like 15 to 20, mostly churches and R3 zones that would be able to benefit from this.
Thank you.
Not too many, but
Yeah.
some.
Thank you.
I think just basically you're saying that you want to keep the primary usage of that R3 zone as it is. These would be secondary and that's why you're putting the restrictions on that size wise and into the same building. I saw permitted retail. What exactly is permanent? I mean, it's retail, but I mean, do you guys decide what can and can't be the retail of that, or What's permanent retail?
Permanent, it's probably as opposed to basically, occasionally the church might have a stuff of like yard sale, thrift
Okay.
sale. Yeah, it sounds like a permanent store.
Something that's been pre-approved in that,
I'm sorry?
to be pre-approved to be sold in that.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. So we're looking for, is there anyone have anything else? We're looking for a motion for item number 19.
I move to approve item number 19.
A second.
Motion.
Councilmember Carter,
Yes.
Councilmember Ellett,
Yes.
Councilmember Marroquin,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Camarena,
Yes.
Mayor Cranshaw.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you, Angel.
Welcome.
Moving on to item number 20, public hearing to consider approval of a draft 26-27 annual action plan. Adriana Nava, Community Service Director.
Hello, Honorable Mayor and Council. Today's meeting is a public hearing for our annual action plan. It's a item that has come before you. Now we are at the annual action plan process. Previously, we had identified $500 to $1,000 for that we thought we would receive from CDBG. We actually received our allocation early this year, and they have informed us that we will be receiving a little bit more funding. So it's $507,676. We have proportionally adjusted the amounts to reflect the new allocation. So for program admin, we have $101,535. For public services, still reflecting that 15%, $75,966, and then other eligible projects, $330,175. And so the breakdown is as follows. For public services, we have allocated towards the various activities that the council previously approved. $25,000 for fair housing. This is a mandated requirement. Senior nutrition program, $15,000. Homeless day center, about $10,000. Activities for youth and at-risk youth through Pell, another $15,000. And then street-based mobile outreach and emergency support services, $10,000, and this was through the Salvation Army. So the total amount is $75,966, and this is reflected in the annual action plan. And then we have allocated $25,000 in support of a home rehab project. And then in terms of other activities, so code enforcement, $55,000, the 8th Street lighting project, $250,175, and then planning and admin for the CDBG program at $101,535. So in terms of community input, the annual action plan is on the city's website. Additionally, we have hard copies at different locations. So the city clerk's office, the library, the economic development office. There's hard copies of the annual action plan also included as part of your packet. The public review period will be from April 14 through May 14. And in addition to that, we do have a public hearing at today's meeting. And then it was also noticed in the Ivy Press. So the plan will be submitted to HUD by May 15, 2026, after input is received from the public. And then for today, we just asked our mayor to open up the public hearing and answer any questions from the community.
Very good, thank you. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and open up the public hearing, and I do have a blue slip from Mr. Rodriguez. If you'd like to step up, sir.
Good afternoon, members of the council. I did review backup data to this. You can see it was pretty well explained. You know where it's going. It's pretty well presented. And I agree with, this is not about a presentation, and hope the council supports that along. Services overall, well, there's needs in some areas. Unfortunately, we don't have funding. You guys are aware of that. It goes in the right appropriate slots, in my opinion. And they're going to serve the community for the long term of the year. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk, do we have any other comments?
None, Mayor.
With no other comments, I will be closing the public or section of that, the hearing. And any questions by council? This was all information that was already brought for us. I think we got our questions out of the way. So at this point, we're asking for approval of this resolution. Can I hear a motion?
So I would like to motion to approve the draft annual plan for CDBG funding.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second.
Councilmember Carter,
Yes.
Councilmember Ellett,
Yes.
Councilmember Marroquin,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Camarena,
Yes.
Mayor Crankshaw.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right, moving forward, we're going into new business. And item number 21, approval to execute the purchase agreement as a Rosenbauer, South Dakota LLC for acquisition of a one-time Type 1 fire engine.
Yes, sir. Good evening, or excuse me, good afternoon, Mr. Mayor and Council. So the item I bring from before you is essentially a continuation of an item back from the December 16th, 2025 meeting where their allocation of $1.4 million was allocated for Measure P for the acquisition of a Type 1 fire engine. That 1.4 million was to not only cover the purchase costs of the apparatus, but also the equipment that we're going to be putting onto it. So again, this is just a continuation of that. We have identified Rosenbauer as the manufacturer for that Type 1 fire engine. And again, this is just formalizing the next step of the process and entering the agreement in order to move forward with the execution of the acquisition of the engine. The proposed fire engine that we're talking about is approximately $1.1 million, is within the previously approved funding, as we said, the $1.4 million. Just a little brief history. This replacement is necessary to restore and maintain our frontline capacity. We did lose an engine back in May 16th, 2023 that we never recovered from. And this would actually bring our fleet balance back to that 2023 number. So with that, we're looking for the execution of this agreement to, again, get the process started. So as you might have heard, fire engines nowadays take a lot longer to build than what they used to. So the sooner that we can get on this, the sooner we can take delivery. I would assume that as of right now, we're looking at maybe summer of next year. It wouldn't be unbelievable to see delays baked into that just because of procurement and things of that nature. But hopefully we'll get there very quick. We have worked with Rosenbauer before. The new ladder truck that you see out there now is a Rosenbauer engine. And so it's been a good company to work with, and we look forward to this. So as such, we're just recommending that we go ahead and adopt the resolution approving the purchase agreement with Rosenbauer and authorizing the city manager to execute that agreement. And I am happy to answer any questions that you might have in regards to this purchase.
Sonia?
No, we just to circle back. So no, this is something that's needed.
No, just happy to see this moving forward.
Same here. Yes.
Sylvia?
Just, excited. I know I remember the one that was decommissioned, so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Decommissioned in the way I don't want to see.
Yeah,
things
no, I
decommissioned.
know.
So do these things only come in red? I
Oh
mean,
my
can you get
God.
like a black and white or?
We can, yeah. No, white,
No, make
no.
it
I
blue
mean,
and white and
the
it'll be
new
real
truck with the
Centro.
black ladder is getting a lot of compliments, but we want to keep it red. Those are real fire engines.
Yeah.
And then 1.1 million, does that come with the extended warranty, right?
It comes with multiple
All right.
warranties, right? It comes with warranties that go from the lettering all the way to the chassis and so on and so forth.
Good news, chief.
Sure.
Okay, well, with that, I appreciate your presentation, and I'll be looking for a motion to adopt this resolution
I
to
would-
allow this process to move forward.
I would like to motion to execute the purchase of the new Type 1 fire engine.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Oh, I'm sorry. Prior to that, I do have a blue note. And so I missed, I put it over here. If Mr. Rodriguez could come up and provide some input, please. I'm sorry about that, sir.
Okay. You guys are busy people. I get it. I too am supportive of fire engine. I bike ride in the morning, you see people go on calls and you always want to make your citizens be ensured that there's high quality besides the staff, but the equipment goes along with it. So I would support a fire engine. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And just moving back, we did have a motion and a second, so if we could call for a vote.
Councilmember Carter,
Yes.
Councilmember Ellett,
Yes.
Councilmember Marroquin,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Camarena,
Yes.
Mayor Cranshaw.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
On to item number 22, presentation discussion regarding residential uses in the downtown commercial zone. Angel Hernandez, Community Development Director.
So, hello again. The presentation before you is, there's no action being requested. It's only for informational purposes. And it's regarding allowing residential uses in the downtown zone. So currently, as of 2017, any type of residential use is prohibited in the in the downtown commercial zone. So some background about the zoning and as relates to residential uses. Back in 2008, the city council adopted an ordinance that allows residential residents to be on the second or higher story of buildings, with the requirement that that project needed to get a conditional use permit. In 2011, the city adopted Project Shape and that adopted design standards. So those are things like requiring that any type of parking be in the back of the building, require that the building be that there be minimal setbacks, so it's up against the street, and that it has arcade structure or covered sidewalk, some common elements. Then in 2017, the city council at that time prohibited residential uses. That was after an urgency ordinance that the city council adopted at the time. And that was mainly due to community concerns regarding safety in the area. And in 2021, when the city adopted its updated general plan, we updated those housing goals to remove the residential uses to be allowed in the downtown area. More recently, the city's downtown ad hoc committee has given direction to staff to start exploring this topic about allowing residential uses in the CD zone. Also, in the coming months, you should see a contract to start the work with a consultant in July, and the work should get started in August. We're preparing a master plan that includes the downtown area, and residential uses in that area is going to be one of the central policy discussions that we're going to have when doing that project. So, as I mentioned, this is an informational item only, and no action is being requested. So just to get everyone situated, the downtown commercial zone encompasses Broadway, Main Street, and State Street between 4th and 8th. You can see it outlined in that red hash. It's about 70 acres. Most of the uses you see there are retail shops, offices, hair salons, to a lesser extent, restaurants, bars, and churches. There's also vacant properties there, and also surface parking lots. So some things that staff is exploring and kind of looking at as some considerations that the Planning Commission and City Council should also be aware of is parking. So when the city did allow residential uses in the downtown, it required that they provide one space per unit, and that the design centers require that those spaces be in the rear of the properties. So there would be access through the alleyway. We do see that keeping that one space per unit would be kind of more beneficial for development. However, there might be instances where those be on-street parking that's occupied by residents. That could be a possibility. Another thing is adjacent use compatibility. So especially on Broadway, we noticed there's several mechanic shops that have been operating, we call them legally non-conforming uses, since they've been there for decades before the zoning was updated in the 2000s to prohibit those uses, but they're still operating illegally. And if we would allow residential uses in the area, staff and the city, when you kind of look at potential incompatibilities regarding noise and orders and things like that. Also, there's some bars and nightclubs in the area, and there should be some consideration about any type of incompatibilities regarding that. Also, state law requires that whenever a city allows residential uses in a certain zone, that they also would have to allow any type of supportive residential housing to also be located in the area. That was a key concern back in 2017. And that was a popular topic back when the city council was considering this. Something else is the past ordinance that was up in 2008. It required that there be some type of ground floor commercial. And what we've seen and just nationwide is that there's been a lower demand for commercial spaces, also in downtown areas. And if that were to be required, it might make some projects not pencil out because they're going to have to dedicate a certain amount of space for a use that may not be, commercial uses that may not be in that high demand in the downtown area. Another thing is a lot of the existing buildings, many of the existing buildings, especially like the larger ones in the downtown area, they would need to be rehabilitated for residential uses. That could be installing some type of seismic retrofitting to the area, to the building, installing some life and safety features like fire sprinkler coverage and things like that. That would make, especially if you have an existing building and readapting it to residential uses, make it cost prohibitive. And finally, if the city were to move forward with allowing residential uses, we'll likely implement the project shape standards, which I mentioned earlier, that require parking to be in the back, that the buildings be up against the sidewalk, and provide some type of sidewalk, some type of cover sidewalk, just to provide a continuity of the design of those buildings in the downtown area. So in the next couple of slides, I can leave these questions in the staff report just for discussion purposes. We kind of want to get the council's opinion about should residential uses be limited only to upper floors only, or should ground floor residential be considered in certain locations? As I mentioned, kind of nationwide, we've seen this trend that there's been lower demand for ground floor commercial on some of these mixed use buildings.
Oh, was that the question now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give my opinion. My opinion is just for housing, no commercial space on the bottom, because the city is in dire need of additional housing, not only the low income, but for the middle class, because we have a lot of through vouchers, through low income apartments and so forth, those individuals have avenues to try to gain housing more so than those that are caught in the middle. And so I know when we spoke about this, this was just for one specific area, not downtown, because of all the reasons you had said here. This was only to be for Broadway between 4th Street and 8th Street. And let's see, I think that's all. I was just looking at pure housing.
Sonny?
That was the meeting that we sat in
Yes.
together, right? Where, yes, we talked about the housing. Yeah, I kind of straddled the fence. Did we discuss this, Angel, where we were gonna do Broadway, State, and Main?
No, because we had stated that for the reasons that Angel put here on Main Street, that it would be too much money to try to retrofit and bring those buildings up to code, all the ones down Main Street. I know we were looking at one that's for sale right now, but with all the expenses that would be related to bringing that up to code, it wasn't even something that we could think about. So that's why we moved out. And on State Street, there's no space really for it. And that's why we looked to Broadway, because on just between the 400 block and 500 block, there's some offices to the south side, but the north side is either empty lots or empty buildings. And then it goes fewer as you go towards 8th. I believe, if I remember correctly, the only reason we said towards 8th is because there's some lots on the north side of Broadway that may be developed for, that could be, whoever owns it could be developed for apartment complexes. As far as the height, the number of stories, I mean, I would have to have a further discussion with the ad hoc committee and with yourself, Angel, to see if there's any other restrictions from a 2 to 3 story to anything. I think this one's what, a 4-story or 3-story and a commercial, right? Yeah.
Sylvia?
As Mr. Hernandez started speaking, I was already picturing the downtown area and about, I thought you're talking about, what are they called when they do the upper levels? But, one of the previous slide where you had all of the reasons why this would be of concern, one of the things that I was concerned about was the seismic retrofits, because those buildings are old and probably, would not meet today's compliance standards, so that's where my concern is. The area on Broadway, I know that there are some apartments on one of the blocks, right behind the Imperial Valley Press building, but heading to the east, there are no other residences there, right? And is it zoned for residential or commercial use?
Those are also
Or is it
mechanic shops, are
mixed?
like legally non-conforming uses. They've been there for several decades. We're kind of, I look back at the zoning in the area, and I couldn't find anything that says that apartments were allowed in the area. What could happen is when you do see residential uses, I think of like the multifamily building on State by the transport terminal. Those are probably existing residential uses from the 20s that just been continuing on to this day. But basically, we couldn't find any. I couldn't find anything that said that residential was allowed in there.
There. Yeah, because I view that area, that whole quadrant there, as commercial. And I don't think that that's somewhere where we should be focusing our attention on to build residential properties. It's just like, that's what my thoughts are.
There is some space on Broadway, obviously, that I don't think I would be opposed to residential myself. Obviously, the north side of Broadway has some empty spaces, and I don't see a problem with that myself as residential. But I think I'll echo what Sylvia just said, that downtown, Main Street and some of those old buildings may not be fit for, I don't know, can you answer any of that, Angel, the possibility of upper stories being used for residential? Is that a concern?
Well, if they go through the process and have the building seismic retrofitted and install the fire sprinklers and those, it could be done. But
I was thinking of seismic. I'm thinking of seismic, and that's
yeah, they could be retrofitted, but that's a point. That's the point. It just may be so cost prohibitive that
yes,
even
that could be very expensive. Exactly.
We really wouldn't see.
Right. I don't think it would happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially
yes,
since the size of the parcel, size of the buildings, they're not that large, I imagine, to make that type
Mhm.
of investment.
As opposed
worthwhile.
to something like Imperial, their downtown residential was built, from scratch, from ground up,
Mhm.
right behind commercial, bordering right on top of almost commercial, where they have
Yes,
places to go, places to park, and it's code. It's all code.
yes, it was built last.
Yeah.
20
So
years.
I would be in favor of, my mind is thinking of, especially the north side of Broadway, that should be open for, residential, that would be appropriate there, and maybe fill in some of these gaps and bring more people downtown by way of living there, proximity.
I'd like to just say that Marty, is one of the things that we were discussing, is being able to bring that residential aspect to the downtown, so that when we have a couple of coffee shops there, and pastries and other items there, that they'll have close proximity to be able to do that. One of the other things is that this space has not had any commercial activity for years. And right now we're in a housing crisis. And I think being able to bring in just some apartment complexes and maybe have them have that design standard, or like how we're doing with Adriana about the Art Deco look, and just something simple like that could tie that into downtown with the new infrastructure that's going in, not only in the park, but on the outsides that are coming in. So I'm believing, like Imperial, when they put those housing, they have the commercial on the ground on one part over here. Then down the block, they have the 3-story. You have people that go from there, and I know because I've gone and met people there that live there and go down and eat right in that area, whether it's Johnny's, the 316 Cafe, an Italian restaurant that's there. And I'm thinking that we can do the same thing if we just limit that section there to some apartments, and hopefully have some growth where, in connection with the downtown fee waiver project, would maybe bring some people that see that there's customers there, and would be able to bring their little shops in to be able to serve them for whatever it may be.
Yeah, so what we're talking, obviously, is multi-use, that's going to be the key. And what I've seen, and I'm seeing it firsthand, is they'll start on a block, and they'll buy out, a development will buy out a side, and everything is demoed. There's no retrofitting, the cost is prohibited, and you're never going to get uniformity in that. I have firsthand, I had a place in San Diego, and I used to look over at a nice little open field, and now that's Riverwalk is exactly what that is, the Riverwalk program. And it's interesting because it will talk about everything we're talking about here. It's commercial, it's residential, 4 stories on top of commercial, and there's only 20% parking. Meaning there's no parking. They have areas outside of this area. The trolley will run through it. There is no parking. And there's no street parking. Trust me on that one. So there's people moving into that is realizing that. And interesting enough, 30% of that project has to be affordable housing, meaning it has to be at 60% below the market value for a certain percentage of 30% of those. So if those are selling, and these were individual or renting these leases, it had to be almost 60% below market for a certain percentage. That's state requirement. So that would be one thing that would have to be considered over here. It's a win-loss. It does bring people in, but the cost of the merchants that would be here, they're not paying what they're paying here. They would be paying to cover the new construction. For this to really work, you could bifurcate this downtown area and work block by block or a street, one side of the street, and see if that works. I will ask you about a lot of the businesses that are already in place. If there's a grandfathering process that if they were to move out, that permit would not be permitted back in. that type of business. I know that we have businesses that are decades, that if a new business came in, they probably wouldn't get a permit because that business doesn't meet that area. And then I think that we can continue to throw as much as we can to vitalize. And this is a large, 70 acres is a huge downtown area for any community to inspire to. Now, don't get me wrong, I would love to see it, but most for these eateries and some of these specialty shops, they've really concentrated on 2 or 3 blocks of which is more cost effective, and then they built around it. And you can do it a couple different ways. There's a couple different places in San Diego, and I know up in Orange County, that multi-use is just not stackable, it's side by side. So your commercial can be 2 stories here, and this could be a 2-story residential, but they're butted up against each other. And usually that anyone that has the residential, they usually put an underground or at least an open parking spot on that. So they can create so that it can be vertically, it can be horizontally as well, and be allowed to mix and match as long as it meets the master plan. If we really were looking at what we could do, we're talking 100-year-old buildings, basically, to some extent, some of those over there. And I love looking at the pictures of them because they're beautiful back then. But to think that you're going to be able to, even under seismic, the affordability is to knock it down and start fresh. And that's why we see that everywhere for development.
Yeah.
And along with that comes new cost. And that new cost is not what they're expecting here. Can we put makeup on this one and make it nice and start addressing these empty lots and start addressing these blight properties? That is one approach. The other approach is to do it this way, which is a vast majority of most jurisdictions are going this way. And it's addressing 2 things. Their housing shortage and their need to keep commercial property for the tax base, and they both support each other. So it's kind of, like I said, it's a win-win all the way down. So if you're asking, just for input, I am 100% behind commercial residential connections for downtown. Now, again, if my understanding of the state statute is that a percentage of that has to be set aside for affordable housing. Not necessarily low income, although it could be in that, but affordable housing. And I was going through your slide, and was that the reason in 2017 that we put hey, we don't want that in downtown?
So the state has cities like El Centro, every city, every county to have a housing element. And as part of that, we need to dedicate certain areas for lower income, higher income housing. And it could be that the city of San Diego, to kind of meet their RENA goals, to meet the housing goals, that they might have they might have a type of ordinance to require that if someone's going to develop there, they would need to dedicate a certain amount of the units there for lower income households. So it's in a way like the state tells you, okay, this is your goal to provide housing for different people, and then it's the city's responsibility to figure out how they implement that. So that could be the way that the city of San Diego does that. Also, I mentioned about the parking. There are state requirements. I think San Diego also implements some further requirements that if you're relatively close to a high frequency transit stop, like the trolley or some bus lines,
you can bypass that.
Yeah, you cannot require a development to require to have parking. Our transit service is not at that point yet. That we
haven't built a trolley.
We haven't built a trolley, or
How about a train?
or even well, it's not even that. It's just having bus service that's like frequent enough during rush hour. That'll qualify for those types of waivers of parking requirement.
So as long as the requirements are there, or the setbacks are there, I mean, it's the same reason why we really can't deny ADUs because the state is requiring that we accept those.
Correct. Yeah.
So because of the housing.
Yes.
is primarily.
Yeah.
Mayor Crenshaw, maybe just, I was thinking just for simplification purposes, as far as the parking and so forth, that on one of his illustrations, that it was just the two-story buildings, and being able to have that back parking. And if we're able to have some developer just do 2 stories across, that would alleviate some of the parking in the back, and also still provide something in the front along both ends.
What street are
because
you talking about?
On Broadway between 4th and 5th, where the empty lots are. Because even the ones across the street, there's a side for parking, because there's nothing I think there's the mechanic shop, but that's closed in the evening. And then there's I believe it's the Lupe Quintero Justice Center or something like that, which was formerly Sierra LA. And so maybe all that section there is also available. So maybe if we restrict, ask for just like a 2-story apartments, that would assist.
Well, I truly believe that the agreeing to the multi-use is going to be the key. And then being very specific in an area. If you're going to try to take this bite out of this entire thing, we're not going to be successful. I think that we pick our through input of the community and then through recommendation of staff, that we pick a block to kick off at least a feasibility study to see how that would work out. And then, if it's successful and all the numbers are in the right direction, it just
Move it,
progresses.
Agreed.
But to look at 70 acres and say, yeah, let's just do this thing, and then hope someone's going to come in with it, it would be overwhelming. So I am really believing that if we can define what our real downtown, what we want to keep, intact, and then try to support around it, I think it's going to be good for downtown.
Yes.
And certainly good for the entire city. So I am in big support of multi-use for this area and in area, and then obviously working within codes. So yeah, I don't know if that helped you in any.
No, I haven't seen. Yeah, yes. So during the plan commission meeting, there was no vote, but the general consensus was focus on Broadway, because that's where we see the concentration of privately owned vacant parcels of land, which would be the easiest to develop. You wouldn't need to demolish anything. They're already under private development. It's kind of really apparent that, if the commercial zoning that was already there was beneficial and we already built something. So that was their kind of general consensus. And regarding Main Street proper, they want to make sure that is, especially like the frontage, that's preserved as commercial retail. Yeah, there was consideration maybe allowing some type of residential in the back of the buildings, but we're speaking kind of all the other difficulties with like rehabbing buildings, and some of these buildings, even demolish them, they're so small that it may not be, you can't really kind of get your ROI from building residential.
Yeah, it's cracking open something that you have no idea once you get it, until you get into it, what you're going to be up against. And a lot of developers would rather just pay for the scrapping of everything and bring it fresh. And then not only that, they're not typically, from what I understand, looking to just place in between buildings. They're looking, they have a master plan in their own. They're looking to sell these or lease these in a larger scale. And that's why I think when we're looking at either one side of the street or the other, but in a city block radius, that is where you're going to get the developers more enticed to come and look at that. And we need to be mindful of keeping, our original, we're getting ready to put money into our downtown, or we're in the process of putting money into our downtown. We certainly want to try to preserve what we can, because there's no such thing as an old town if it's brand new buildings. It doesn't exist. So, but certainly you can support around that. And I think that maybe that's something that we can kind of explore is kind of creating that perimeter
Right.
of new commercial. So, well, thank you for the information. Does anyone
Yeah.
have any further?
No, just agreeing with you that I think just that a block at a time, that section is the great way to start. It goes along with what Councilmember Carter and I spoke with the ad hoc about, that it is too much and honestly, actually just looking at everything like we've been looking at, I think that's really the only area that we have to look at. So agree
Thank
with
you.
what you're saying.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Angel, thank you very much. Do you have anything? Oh, we're
I
not.
have
Well,
one more.
I had another question, but like, I think
Okay, go ahead.
the question about where those uses should be allowed, I already got the input.
Mhm.
It
We
being
got in front of you.
Broadway. No, it's fine.
Ah,
Just for your
okay.
questions. I guess the last item is, back in 2017, there were concerns about kind of crime, vagrancy in the area and how that would be conducive to residential, especially support of transitional housing in the area. And I know that that's always going to be a concern in the area, but how does the council feel about that in relationship to any type of new residential?
Well, I think we already have residential living amongst that on State Street. And I feel that we can't allow ourselves to let this hold the city hostage as it has, not just in this element, but other areas as well. I believe that being able to develop the area, because the very area we're speaking of right now, the Broadway area, is somewhere where they go because there's nothing there. So when you develop, they will see that there's life, there's things going on there, and they will no longer be driven to that area because it's not going to be something that's going to be allowed. We have other items that we're working on that hopefully will come to fruition that are going to address this area regarding homelessness in the downtown area. I don't know how long more it's going to take for us to get that, but once we're able to, I believe that, and we're able to share that with everyone, that if it's approved, that is going to take care of this. As far as, I don't know what you guys went through in 2017 regarding that, but I don't want to see the city held back by something that happened back then without trying to go forward. It sort of goes in line, in my thought only, why we don't have bathrooms in some parks, where we allow this small area and element to take over families in different parks, and they can't even go to the restroom there because of these very things that are being brought up here. And I mean, is it a concern? I understand it could be, but we need to be able to work to get around it and be able to thrive as a city. And we're addressing this, like I said, but I think it's time. If any of this comes forward, we can talk about it. But I think at this point, it's noted and that it may come up. But I don't want to see us hold back strictly because of it.
Starting to move forward.
We need to move forward. I think we need a lot of forward thinking as we see communities thrive around the valley, Imperial Valley. I mean, we've seen so much growth in the Indio area, and we see Yuma thriving. We see Mexicali thriving. We see east of Alpine and Santee thriving, and then we see us as a valley in the same position. I really think it's time we just go forward and just become like, grow, have forward thinking and grow.
Well, I agree with that. When people are not there, then people are going to, gravitate to that area. I think one of the things that we need to be mindful is this is Central. We have foot traffic, vehicle traffic, bike traffic, both eastbound, westbound, and then northbound, southbound through this downtown area. It picks up a lot of traffic through our city. These 6th Street, 4th Street, 8th, Broadway State. They pick up a lot of traffic through the central part of the city. And I think that that's got positives to it. And then obviously some of this has the negative aspect of that as well. None of that can be, all this, you know, when it comes to the crime, we're going to address the crime. We'll reach out to our police. We'll reach out to our, through our city and say, this is the direction we want. You know, it comes down to quality of life impacts. So if we feel that this is a high priority, then we'll ask the city manager to address it, and through the department heads, whatever department heads there might be, we would like to have some resources put to that. And if not, why not? Why can't we have that done? You know, and then discuss what an alternative plan can be. But that none of that is the reason. None what you have listed there could be the reason why we wouldn't develop any part of our city. Any part of our city. Homelessness, drug use, vagrancy, none of that can be a part of any equation for, because if we develop it, you're not going to have homelessness, drug use, and vagrancy. They will go to the areas that we haven't done that. And that's just a high probability, a likelihood. So it, at least for council, at least you can kind of get the pulses that this is not going to be an obstacle, as it may have been considered in the past. So that's my take on it.
Mayor, one more comment, just food for thought. I know that in our city, not far from downtown, there are high-density apartments that are gated communities, and they are very well kept, very good looking. When you look right across the street and see a very old, dilapidated, you know, area and looks like the slum, to me, there's no comparison. And so we have an opportunity, perhaps, to develop something like that. Could even be high density, and in these cases, the difference is that they're gated, and it makes a huge difference, and they're very well kept, and so they're pleasant to see. They're great to see. There's always an issue with parking, and what we just talked about, and downtown and what that draws. But this is something I think that could really add, bringing people in proximity to downtown, but having something nice there, and not something that we're trying to kind of do a facelift and end up with something that's
And
Not-
just
not
to
good.
add to that, I don't want to be the next date on your slide. I don't want to be 208, 211, 214,
understand.
217.
Right.
Now in 229, they're discussing the exact same thing. We put a Band-Aid on an issue. That way of thinking needs to go by the wayside. We either need to figure out how to do the solution. We need to get together and do think tanks and come up. And there's things that we can't afford, things we can't afford. There's things we can't control, things we can't. We work with the things we can control, and we work it within our budgetary, and then we see if we can come up with solutions. But this can will continue to be kicked down the road, and it will be an old town or a downtown that in 2040 people are going to still be talking about, and we'll talk about different cities that have been able to figure it out. So truly, if my opinion is that we need to lock ourselves in a room for 48 hours and really start hammering out some real solutions. And not saying that you're not doing that. I'm just saying it takes everybody to get in there and roll up their sleeves and get it done and walk away with something that we can actually, a foundation that we can actually start building upon. Because I'll tell you, I'll be the first to say that I walk away going, God, it was good to say something, and then I expect nothing. It's a horrible knowledge, and look, I think we've all felt that way. It was a conversation, but we didn't really accomplish anything, and I don't want to continue to do that. I think that if we can, what can we afford? What can we afford to do here? And what has other jurisdictions with the same amount of finances been able to accomplish? So that's really, I just don't want to have this conversation to have this conversation. So
Angel, can I
I'm
say
sorry, go
something?
ahead. Yes.
You know, so since the revitalization efforts for the downtown area have started, you know, even shortly after I came on council, you know, we're not seeing so much of the homelessness, the vagrancy in the downtown area, specifically reminded me of some comments that when the owners of La Resaca were coming into, you know, when they were developing their business down there, that is something that they saw, you know, because there was more activity in the downtown area that was drawing more people into the downtown area, they were seeing less and less of this type of activity. And so now that we're also working on revitalizing the town square, you know, it's just like, because that too became an attraction for, you know, the homeless individuals that live within our city. You know, I think that is now going to deter even more of this type of activity in the downtown area. So I think in time, since 2017, I think that has changed because of the efforts that we've made to revitalize that area. So, you know, I think we're on the right path. You know, it's just that, you know, and things are happening that will help deter that type of activity.
So, and I hope that you're absolutely right, but the story tells us I disagree. This is the exact same conversation when they revitalized the town pavilion area last time. Yeah. It was when they did this same thing, and they put the fountain and all that stuff. It was with the same, I was involved in that. It was with the exact same desire, which we all have, with the hope of the exact same outcome, which didn't happen. And my hope is, after we put forth all this effort, that we just didn't dress up a new place for the next group of transients to come in. And I don't know what the answer is, but we've done this before. And in this very location, and then in the downtown. It doesn't mean we shouldn't stop doing it. Don't get me wrong. The hope was to attract families, and then we could have city events, more city events. But the reality of it is, when we don't have those, this is where this becomes an issue, and things get destroyed, or things get vandalized, or whatever may happen. And that's because Main Street kind of closes, you know, during the nights, and it is an avenue. I'm not saying that we shouldn't try, for absolutely, 100%, but I just don't want to have some illusion that we haven't done this before. I mean, there was over $1 million put into this very same location with this very same hope and desires that we have now. And I hope that, you know, things have changed. I hope that more people come, and it's going to be an attractive thing. But I'm kind of grounded a little bit in reality that the past does sometimes predict the future. And unless things have changed with our homeless and with our, you know, our economics, which I think economics has kind of gone the wrong way for our folks that are, you know, economically, you know, broke and stuff. We do have issues. That's why I'm saying we have to, somewhere down the line, there is a fix. I'm just not 100% sure that this is it. I mean, I'm thankful that we were able to get a grant. I'm thankful that we're able to do this for our city, but I am concerned with what's going to happen after we've done this again, because we're putting up gates on 4th Street and on 8th Street, and it's saying, hey, welcome to our downtown stuff. But those big arches on 4th and 8th Street used to be, that came in during that time. So this thing has been an area of concern. So we need to attack this a little bit differently. We need to look at this and say, okay, what has been successful in the past, what hasn't been successful, and then maybe address it that way. I truly believe that we should continue to always try. I just concerned with the outcome.
Agree.
And the final,
there's our arches right there.
yeah. No, this is town square. And
Oh,
just speak
okay.
about it, it's the idea with it is to rehabilitate to allow vendors to operate in the area. I don't think that was the original plan back in the early 2000s. Now when that was first done.
No, I didn't ask this question. Are vendors going to be there? Could vendors be there even when we're not having events?
When we updated the mobile vending ordinance in December or earlier this time, Town Square was one of the city parks and facilities that would allow vendors to operate there with permission from the Parks and Recreation Department. So they once it gets, well, right now it's construction zone, but once that gets open, they could operate there.
That would be different.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
something different. I mean, if vendors were able to operate in there and daily or whatever, and then and attract a lunch crowd or whatever it might
That's
be.
Yeah,
How, Angel, how is that going with, it's a little off topic, but before I forget, how's it going with the mobile vendors? Is that being utilized in the city?
Yes,
Okay.
I have about 6 or 7 of them. I saw one operating on the actual street by Tractor Supply the other day. Those are the first one I actually saw operate on the street. Other ones are operating on mostly on private property.
And they're pretty classy. They got the lights.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple of the Tractor Supply over there by the old Smart and Final. There's a fish area over there
Yeah.
that, and they're pretty much there to, and
By
it's
AutoZone.
becoming a regular
yes.
thing. You're starting to see, this is where people go. But yeah, that taco place, I think in front of Tractor Supply is pretty popular at lunchtime too.
See a bunch of long lines. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been there personally.
I have a question regarding the master plan, Angel. You said that's going to start in, did I catch you right, August 2026? Or,
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
and how long does that take?
It should be 12 months.
12 months?
12 months. Yes.
Do we have to, like, let's say we'd like to prioritize this, let's say we would say, hey, we have a consensus, we want to move forward. Does it have to go through this master plan?
No. If it's the will of the city to move forward with the component of residential, we could work on that.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah.
I have no further statement.
No.
And you know what? Every time I say that, you bring up another slide. Is that it?
No, it's kind of just
I'm sorry.
but a lot of things to talk about is already covered. To be honest
I'm
with you.
sorry. I thought when you paused, I thought you were done with your slides.
No, it's fine.
I
Don't
apologize.
interrupt.
He does that to us too.
But a lot
Don't
of,
worry.
well, I mean, you all brought up the kind of the same topics and issues. So we're going to be working on the downtown civic center master plan that should get started in August. And you spoke about community engagement. So that's a component of the whole planning process. And we're also going to be having people look at the feasibility of reusing some of these lots, looking at the economics behind it. So those are aspects that be part of this project. And these are all items that be brought before you during that time. We're going to have some workshops with City Council, Planning Commission, to get everyone involved. And it's anticipated to take the 12 months. So okay, that's it.
Is that 12 months from when we start? When we make a
August.
decision? Or let's say if we do, let's say we come to an agreement before, is that still another 12 months?
So the whole planning process, it's scoped out for 12 months. And the product would be essentially a checklist of things that would need to be changed. Could be part of the zoning code, could be other elements, programs that the city would need to implement. So after that, it's all about implementation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On the topic of food vendors, Angel did identify that we are going to have them at specific locations. So one of them was the Starkfield parking lot. We're working with Emilio to create a flyer. We did have some initial interest, but we want to create a flyer and open it up to the vendors so that no vendor has like individual preference. We're going to open it up for the various locations and then see what applications come before. It was an additional, I think, $100 from the uniform application, they'll start there. We're also meeting with the health department on like restroom operations. So for example, at Stark Field, we're using the parking lot, the restroom hours, what we'll need to establish for that, because the health department also has other requirements that we have to fulfill. So we are working on the launch of that.
Could this be a mobile vendor food court
That is what that is
What it
intended to
is.
be. Yes,
daily?
yes.
Oh,
Okay.
Perfect.
And the Start Field plan's great. I think that's great because the visibility there, and people
Yes.
can just park in and then go on their way, especially if they park sort of just like a U.
Yes, so we're thinking 3 to start out with
Oh.
at Stark Field.
Mhm.
And then the other location was 8th and Vine. That one does not have a restroom. It's the old water
Oh,
tower
yes. uh-huh.
site, but we thought that was another good vendor opportunity.
Right.
And Swarthout, which is another parking lot. And that one also has a restroom. And that one's a great shortcut between kind of El Centro Imperial. A lot of people
Right.
drive that
Yes.
and head to Border Patrol.
Mhm.
So that one was the other
Yeah.
location.
Those are great
So,
ideas.
Yeah. Well, that was the implementation of the ordinance. So
Thank you.
we're working through it.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Angel.
Thank you, Angel.
Angel.
All right. Number 23, award bid of Jacaranda Gardens. The grant the bike lane and street improvements project. Abraham Campos, Public Works Director.
Good afternoon, not evening. Had to
Yes.
take a second look there. Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor and council members. So it's just, in a way, it's almost as a follow-up to the previous item. This is a grant that was received by the city of El Centro. Great effort from Adriana and her team related to the Chelsea Apartments over on Waterman. And a component of that grant included street improvements. So in order to check all the boxes and get the most points for the housing that was started in that area, we get an opportunity to get additional funds to the city to benefit others and to make connections between those residents and additional commercial in the area. The project is based on a grant of $2.24 million for the California Climate Investment in Affordable Housing and Sustainable Communities Grant. And we did get one bid for that one only. Thankfully, it was well within the engineer's estimate, so we are happy to proceed with that. It's Wolf Engineering at 1.9 million and change. And what that grant does, it will install Class 2 bike lanes on Bradshaw. That's between Imperial Avenue and Bushry, generally basically between Costco and Walmart, that section. And that will look generally something like this. I was able to use AI on one of our quarters and add trees. That's the intent of what's going to be proposed on Bradshaw. Then Class 3 bikeways on Waterman Avenue from Lincoln Avenue to Villa. So Class 3 is the one on your lower left, which is sharrows and markings, and adds it's a share of the road type of scenario. Then we're adding Class 2 bike lanes on Waterman Avenue between Crookshank Drive and Lincoln Avenue. And Class 2s, I'm sorry, yes, Class 2s are the ones that are separated. They right on the edge, and generally, if you can imagine, in the parking lane. I see a question coming. You're good?
I'm doing my numbers.
All right, very good. So, and a big item on this one is the extension of 12th Street. So 12th Street north of Adams is not shown here, but north of Adams will connect all the way to Bradshaw. And currently it is blocked by the via extension in that area. That canal has been undergrounded. That was kind of the first phase on getting 12th Street over, but now we will be getting 12th Street over and across going to Pico and further north. Once it reaches Pico, it will meet the warrant, so we'll get a stop sign coming up at Pico and 12 once this connection happens. So where we're at, we noted that we received a grant back in January 2022. The apartments have been built. We've been working on plans and specs, and we are here tonight to award on April 28th to this contract. So we expect construction to start early this summer and be ongoing through through November, more or less. We will have a very busy summer, more items to come in construction. A lot of cones will be out on the streets this summer. So a lot of change. This is the first of 3 items I'll be presenting tonight, and I'm looking for a motion to adopt this contract, awarding the contract to Rove Engineering. Any questions?
Yes, I know that this is slam dunk that we want to get going, but I think that probably my question also is like, what are the chances of going over the bid, the overage in this case?
Not following the.
They want to know if it's going to go over the bid.
So actually, we came low. So the amount,
Yes,
the
yes,
amount came at 1.9 million.
right, I saw that.
Yeah.
But we have 2.2 in grants. So we have an opportunity to, one, have the contingency available. And then, and if needed, we can add additional scope, make the sidewalks wider, add some enhancement, maybe better landscaping. We'll see once the contract starts going. And we have to work within the grant parameters. We can't go beyond that grant parameters, but we have an opportunity now to add enhancement.
Abraham, just a suggestion that I know you probably are on, but if you're able to, if there's an opportunity for more landscape, maybe some trees, because we really need more trees in the city. So I think that would help.
Absolutely.
Just as a suggestion.
And one thing that we found when we have a scenario, we can, instead of having the little trees, we can get maybe more mature trees.
Right. Yeah, that looked really good on your thing. And then more or less, when do you anticipate that crossover to happen for that stop sign to be at 12th and Pico, more or
So
less?
this project will probably get a notice to proceed later in May. It takes us from council award, it takes 3 to 4 weeks for the contract, for the notice to proceed. So realistically, visible construction won't start into June, July. So the crossing likely around August, September.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah, I've had a lot of concerns about the Pico, so, yeah, thank you.
So I commend you to have a project and its contingency come in with under the grant money.
Right.
So that's first and foremost. One of the things that I would, two things I'd like to point is that we are very specific on details. The frustrating part is we didn't see this, or we overlooked this, or there's something we can to tie to this. So that the spec is, we know what we're getting, they know what they're delivering, and it's on the same page. There's no finger pointing and any of that. The only thing, and I love the idea with trees. I think trees is a great thing, especially when they get higher, and of course with that comes maintenance and everything else. But one of the things I see, are you planning on using in the islands DG, or are you using Pebble or whatever? Because there's 2 things with that weed abatement from that, and then pouring that new Sila glaze over all that. For future projects, it wasn't figured in on this, locks in everything, so it's not to be tossed. It doesn't lose anything. It helps with the weed abatement, and it looks as good 5 years from now as it did when they put it in there, and that's becoming a big. It's a kind of a epoxy type of slurry type, but it's clear. And it goes over all this stuff. I know that when they did the rocks underneath the overpass or at the 4th, they locked those all in.
Yeah.
And I think that when we talk about island work, sometimes too much items in the island is as bad as not having anything in there. But when it comes to locking this in, weed abatement would be number 1, which is help with the maintenance, and then number 2, preserving the life of this project to make it look the way we would like it to look. Moving forward, if it's possible for future projects to look into that when we're talking about raised concrete curbs and island work. So
absolutely, and you raise a good point. I do not recall the details of this project, whether the rocks are locked in or not. There is a rock, not PG, if I recall, on this one on the islands. But we do have taken that same approach. A Street, for example, on the corridor, the mobiles and the curb extensions along A Street, north of Buckland Park in that area, they're river rock locked in concrete. So there's no maintenance. And so we do have an opportunity right now to modify that even in this project if possible. And that's one other enhancement that could be incorporated.
I done complimenting you on your staying with.
Well, with the money, we don't want to leave money on the table. So it's one of those use it or lose it.
Absolutely.
So we will make sure that we stay within grants. But if there's an opportunity to do enhancements, we'll take it.
Right, great.
Perfect, thank you. Does anyone have anything further on this topic? If we could, this would require a motion to move into the next.
So I would move that we award the bid for the Jacaranda Gardens bike lane
I'll
improvement,
second.
street improvement.
We have a motion and a second?
Councilmember Carter,
Yes.
Councilmember Elliott,
Yes.
Councilmember Marroquin,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Camarena,
Yes.
Mayor Cranshaw.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, moving even further and trying to make that connection again to housing in the downtown-ish area. We did apply also for a APCD grant for paving of alleyways. I'll show you a map where they're at.
Just confirming this is item number 24 for the alleyway paving project?
Correct.
Okay.
I apologize. I jumped into that item.
No, all good.
So we got 2 bids. I'll go into the scope right now, but we did get 2 bids for this one. We were pleasantly surprised with the Rove Engineering. Our engineering estimate was more in line with the second bidder. And we were surprised on Rove Engineering. So we are actually working with APCD on how to add scope to this project in a very tight timeline that we have to spend this funding. So in this one, we're actually quite a bit low based on efficiencies that Rove Engineering was able to find on this project. So thank you, Rove, for that. We will be able to probably do some enhancements. What this project entails is the paving about 30 alleys, a lot of them north of Adams Avenue, some south of Adams Avenue. Many of these have multifamilies or duplexes that face the alley. Those alleys are currently unpaved, creating dust and emissions. But also, as a side benefit of this project, it may encourage more multifamily along these corridors, because when multifamily comes into a city and wants to access to the alley, usually one of the requirements from our department is you need to pave the alley so that you have a paved access to your site. If the alley is already paved, it's a lesser cost on development. So it's a multi-pronged benefit here. So we have 30 locations shown in the site plan that we're proposing. On the right is a typical unpaved alley that we have in this area, fairly clean to that extent. And the intent is basically having it paved. So it will pave about 14 feet, leaving some gaps on the edges for the power poles and utilities that are in the way. Many of these alleys will actually become one-way because of that, because we're going to be narrowing it out. They're only 20 feet right now. Mine is a pole, so there's like around 18 feet. But we'll have a paved alley and signage for one-way directions going forward. So more as this gets implemented, we'll be advising the public of a new lane. We're now here for award and seeking direction to move forward and award this contract to Rove Engineering.
So would you be coming back to for additional when that scope of work is identified and the funding? So that would
Absolutely.
be piggyback onto this under the same grant.
Absolutely. So we're working with APCD. They're working with their federal counterparts to see what eligible items are. It might be construction. It might be because of timeframes of purchase of some equipment that reduces emission. So whatever's quicker to get the funding expended, we are in a tight deadline to spend the funding. But any direction, we'll have to come back.
I can identify the 31st alley I'd like to see.
I'm going to say the 32nd, but I want it to be behind Broadway in anticipation moving
Exactly, right.
forward.
It should be
That would be
random.
great.
Yes, so it's, we'll see how much we can work with our contractor and see how we can design build them, some of them, if allowed by the grant.
Okay. That's great. Thank you.
Sonia, you have any? Sylvia? Marty?
Question, Abram, about the bids.
Mhm.
There's two bids and they're wide range apart.
Yes, they are.
Are you sure that there was no misunderstandings about this to have such a large gap in these two bids from these two local companies?
No, I'm comfortable. I did check with the contractors. Usually when we see something like this, a red flag for us as well, saying, hey, did we miss something? Did you miss something? But in speaking with the contractor, they're confident that their price is good. It's more of means and methods on how they're gonna do things. Grove has taken to purchase quite a bit of equipment themselves, and they're using that stuff so they can get things more efficient.
Got it. Thank you.
At times.
Thank you.
Very good.
Good
Well, if
question.
no further questions, we are looking to have a motion to accept and move on this resolution.
I'll give a motion to, for the contract for the alleyway pavement project.
Second?
A motion and a second.
Councilmember Carter,
Yes.
Councilmember Allen,
Yes.
Councilmember Marroquin,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Camarena,
Yes.
Mayor Crankshaw.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Item number 25. With Abraham, discussion and any necessary action to award 2026 street overlay project.
All right. So good afternoon again. Some more orange cones to be out on the streets. So we have released the 2026 street overlay project and received bids. We're ready to award. This one is funded through different through a grant as well as Measure D. So just to explain the funding sources, SBRMRA is the gas tax. That's the funding that we pay at the pump. SB1 funded. And LTA Measure D, you'll see two line items. One is a bond. There was a bond done similar to the Measure P bond. There was at a time a Measure D bond performs, and there's still, through interest accruals on that, there's $850,000 from that fund balance from that fund. So we're taking this opportunity to get that funding extended, as well as our normal LTA Measure D revenue stream that comes from the region. That brings us for a total budget of 3.5 million and change, as stated there in the presentation. That includes a 10% contingency, no impact to general fund. So in this one, we got 4 bids, more in line to what I like to see, very close together. So everybody read it exactly the same. And in this case, Granite Construction was a little bidder. So now we are recommending the award to go to Granite Construction at 3.231 million. And what this work, just to remind you, is that when we approved plans and specs a few months ago, this includes overlay projects throughout the city. There's some on the north end, tying in almost to this Pico Avenue, which is 12th and El Dorado and Pico, tying to this other 12th Street project. So it will tie in nicely, rehabbing that northern area of town. We have on the southeast by Aurora and Fairfield, find that industrial area in that area that needs some work for a while. And some residential streets to the south and the west. So this is just a little bit of spreading the work. This is consistent with a PCI or Pavement Condition Index, which provides a guidance on how to select what areas of the city will receive treatment and what type of treatments. Cones will be throughout the city as we do road maintenance. Again, we approved plans and specs back in January 20 of this year, went out to bid, got bids, and we're here tonight requesting approvals of this contract with Granite Construction. Any questions?
When Abraham, on the map that you had right there, on the south end, is that Manzanita Drive down here and
Yes.
Jacaranda? Okay. So those streets are being, okay.
They need it, yes.
Yeah, they need it. I know that I was spoken to by a number of residents there about the speed bumps. I don't know if they wrote in or anything, but that would be a whole separate.
That's a separate discussion.
A discussion. Okay, thank you.
One question, Abram.
Mhm.
These figures, the total, is that based on the granite construction bid?
Yes,
Okay.
so, because, yes, the granite is 3.2, but the funding is a little bit more, right, 3.5, because it
Mhm.
includes,
Yes.
10% contingency.
Yes, okay.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Any questions? Not looking for a motion.
So I would like to motion to authorize the execution of a contract for the streets overlay project.
I'll second that. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Margaret.
I'll second that. Thank you.
Second.
Councilmember Carter,
Yes.
Councilmember Ellett,
Yes.
Councilmember Marroquin,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Camarena,
Yes.
Mayor Crankshaw.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Man, this is the Abraham show. All right. Item number 26, rescinding resolution 26-021, insulating and proceeding for proposal of water and wastewater rate adjustment and postponing the Proposition 218 public hearing.
Yes, good afternoon. As you may recall, back in March 17, we initiated proceedings for Prop 218 for rate setting purposes. After additional feedback, what we're trying to do here is buy us some time to provide additional outreach to the public, as well as align this rate increase better with the cooler months, as right now during the summer, utility costs are generally high. So in an effort to not impact the community right in the summer, we're pushing this over to the winter months. We've coordinated with finance, and this is something that can be done. So we're looking for your support to resign that resolution, starting the Prop 218 process and moving that over to a later date by council.
Could you remind us of the efforts by the city to reach out to the community? I mean, I think that the one thing I remember is that we really wanted an education component of the purpose of this. I think all of us, I mean, none of us want any increases in anything. I mean, that would be the perfect world. And you know, we're all stakeholders in that because this is a rate that's going to affect us as well. But, you know, we're up here and we get information in detail explaining the needs and the whys and the whats. And I think that, I mean, for anyone who is, that we can reach out to, our outreach to our community to really help. I think the time given here, I just want to make sure that if you could tell us the things that we're doing, other than just sending a flyer out and say, read this if you get a chance. Is there anything else that we got?
It's a multi-prong. You're right. One of the main components, because of the legalities and the needs, is mailing out that flyer. We're not sending it in. The idea when this gets sent, it won't be sent in a standard envelope that you will see in trash. It'll be a different type of envelope, different shape than what the community is used to, maybe different color, specifically saying what it is for. And when you open it, it won't be a boring letter. It'll have color. It'll be a pamphlet. It'll give you information. It will be education. That's something that we're working with our media creator teams here to make sure that that is sending the message, and it's not something that's just going to be thrown away. We're also, as part of that, we'll simplify with QR codes so they can go to our city website. There'll be question and answers formats in that area, a dedicated phone number for questions, a social media reminder. So we're working through all that content. And when we're ready, we'll be advertising that out as we bring it forward later.
Thank you very much. So anyone have any questions for everyone on this one?
I do. I mean, one of the things that we are very concerned about is staying ahead with information instead of getting behind is so critical, so important. So I very much appreciate this, Abram.
And so you're looking for
a motion to
Yes.
adopt a resolution rescinding the prior resolution that's starting the process.
Do I have a motion?
So I will motion to rescind the previous resolution.
A second.
Do you have a motion and a second?
Councilmember Carter,
Yes.
Councilmember Ellett,
Yes.
Councilmember Marroquin,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Camarena,
Yes.
Mayor Crankshaw.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Item number 27 with Abraham Campos. Yeah. Just wanted to see if you were on your game, buddy. All right.
I know.
All right, moving into task force and council reports, and I will start with Sylvia.
Wow. Lots of activities this past, participated in our council goal setting workshops, after our last council meeting. Councilmember Ellett was kind enough to invite us to the Turning Point Ministries Men's Home Banquet. That was, as he mentioned, we heard, some testimonials, and he had told me that, this is a very inspirational event. So, it's nice to, support an organization that's been in existence for quite some time, and to hear the stories of how some of these individuals turned their lives around, because of, and with the help of Turning Point Ministry. So commend them for that. I was at the Children's Fair. Oh my gosh, that event has really expanded into other areas of the park that I had not seen before, so extremely successful. There were many people, and that we were lucky that we had decent weather for the Children's Fair. Also, as you know, I serve as the alternate for the city seat on LAFCO. So we had a LAFCO meeting last Thursday morning. And during that meeting, we adopted the draft budget for the coming fiscal year. And then last Saturday, I was also at the IID Earth's Day celebration that they held at their headquarters on the lawn. So I know that the weather probably didn't help very much because it got very windy and overcast. But, as the time went on, I saw more and more people show up. But, they had many resource tables and programs that the IID offers, to residents throughout the county for weatherization. And so, and I signed up, and I've already been called. And so let's see what they have to offer. They have grant funding for these, so it would be at no cost to the community. And we also had our ACRMC board meeting last evening. And, the hospital transaction is still in the works. And so, we'll keep the community posted on that. But we are hoping that we come to an agreement with the bondholders soon, and we're able to transfer the bonds and transition the hospital into the new healthcare district. And tomorrow I will be traveling to Chula Vista to attend the California Joint Powers Insurance Authority, who is our risk management company. They're hosting an elected officials summit. So I will be attending that. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Marty?
Yes, a similar report. Our goal-setting meeting was very productive and long, and we need to spend time really together doing this to make sure that we're all on the same page. And then that same week, as Sylvia mentioned, the Turning Point Men's Home Ministry banquet. One thing I have to say about this county, there are more men's homes, men's recovery homes, women's recovery homes in our county per capita, probably that I can think of anywhere else that I've ever been, very experienced. Just commenting on the outreach that we have in this community is very powerful, and the benefit, the huge benefit that we gain in our county, as well as not being a burden to the state and federal, because a lot of these fellas were headed for prison, which costs, what does it cost? 300,000, 100,000 a year per head. It's over $100,000.
Over 100,000.
Yeah.
Over 100,000.
Over 100,000. And so instead of that, we are gaining, recovered citizens, just as a matter of interest and point of interest. What would you call it? Commercial, secular drug rehab program like Betty Ford in the Palm Springs area has about a 10% recovery rate when you track over 5 years. These homes, when you track over 5 years, the fellows and women that go through them, it is about an 80% recovery rate. It is just so impressive. I'm so impressed with this. So I'm so happy that some of my colleagues were able to see this, and it's just so impressive. I'm so thankful for this. And then, of course, the Children's Fair that, I would have been praying for good weather for a long time. Not too windy, not too hot. It was great and packed with kids and lots and lots of activities for them. So it's been a busy 2 weeks. Councilmember Camarena and myself were in Sacramento for about 3 days, 2.5 days. Great experience. We got to meet in Jeff Gonzalez's office with about his little office that we had about 14 of us jammed into one little space and talking with Jeff from people from his district about our concerns. Great to be there and be with him personally. Also got to meet with our Senator Steve Padilla, just Councilmember Camarena, myself, and a member from Imperial, and had a good, short, brief time with him again in his office personally. He is actually sponsoring a bill to incentivize data centers throughout California. He's asking for them. So that was very interesting to find out as well. So, and then meeting, of course, a lot of folks. We had a couple of representatives from Hopeville as well. These people they see the value of connecting to the right people at the state capitol to get services for their city. And we see the same, and that's why it's valuable. That's pretty much my report. Thank you.
Sonia?
I attended a lot of the same events, the goal setting, the Children's Fair, but I also attended Aunt Molly's grand opening. Very nice. Stood outside in line for a long time, so it's very good food there. And I attended my vintage rental. She started her business here, and she had her grand opening so it's very nice too. Very nice place. And then the Joshua Holmes basketball tournament, as always, it's a very good event to have for the community. And that concludes my report.
Same, except the grand openings that I attended. I think it was in this last period that I was able to attend. Remind me, guys, the Autism Swim Day at the Aquatic Center. Being able to meet and the families there that had a great time. The families are there with their children, and we were able to stay with them for a while. Also had the opportunity to meet with have a meeting with a Mexican businessman regarding Mexican development, hopefully here in the Valley. Also had a meeting with Brendan for vets and city staff regarding some of the challenges for veterans and homeless housing. Did attend the League of California City Leaders Summit. And like Marty stated, did have an opportunity to speak with Assemblyman Jeff Gonzalez at length twice regarding some of the wish lists that we have for our city, and also with Senator Steve Padilla. And we're able to sit in on some of the conference topics, which were what are California cities doing to support homeless veterans? From that, we became members of the Veteran Committee through Cal City. So we're looking forward to participating in that at that level. I also sat in on the California state budget and federal uncertainty. I think you were with me on that one, huh?
Yes, we were.
And what it means for local leaders. That was very interesting. And basically it was just talking about how, based on what's going on right now with funding, or maybe not getting to where it should be, that the instability of that is going to be affecting local cities, and they're going to be facing potential funding cuts. And many cities will be forced to scale back critical programs and rely more on county services. So with that, after that, I ran to the new grants and economic development playbook seminar, and sat there and looked at about all the different collaborative financing options. and working hand in hand with other cities to try to rebuild our economies. And so we'll be looking at that and financing districts and so forth, other options that we'll be bringing up at a later date to see how we can grab as much money as we can and move forward so that we don't lose the level of services that we're providing at this current time to our residents. And the last seminar we went to was the AI applications in local government. You guys know I'm not computer savvy whatsoever, so I was sort of the deer in the highlight there, just taking notes and notes. So I'll share that as well, also with our colleagues, and I'll probably just forward that to you guys, which you guys probably already know because I'm just learning that. But it's always good to go to these because sometimes it's like, oh, you know, why do they go? Well, being able to get information firsthand from Cal Cities and the representatives that are there can give us that little edge that we need to be able to get in front of possible issues and move forward. I forgot to mention that we were also able to listen to 3 of the candidates for governor that were there. So we were able to listen to Javier Becerra, Antonio Villagrosa.
Yeah, Villagrosa.
And
Yes.
then Thurman was his
Thurman,
last name?
yes.
Thurman. Very interesting topics from all 3 of them. And so that was about an hour that they had to speak. So it was really good. So that's all I have.
So Can I add something since we're talking about Cal Cities? And I know that you all received the notification that our division meeting scheduled for April the 30th was postponed. So we are working on rescheduling that and have a joint meeting with the Riverside County Division in June. Okay, so keep, we're looking at June the 15th. It's on Monday evening. Okay, so it won't be on the Thursday, it'll be on a Monday. Okay, so, make sure that you write in your calendars, so that you'll be in attendance because, that brings together, all of the elected officials out of the Coachella, Indio area and so on, and so I think we share a lot of the same issues and the same type of environmental issues and so on. So it's always good to, connect with them and collaborate on whatever we can do, together. So
I agree with you, Sylvia, and I
Okay,
think
so-
that's great because we do need it. One of the things I did speak about with them out there, some of the elected officials, was the ability to get more money on the extreme heat that we have here. And so that's something that we can talk to them about. And also they're ahead with the shelter and wraparound services. They have some really good programs out there for specific for women and families. So I think it's real. I'm glad to hear that we're doing that.
Yeah. I
Thank
now that
you.
you mentioned that, I remember one gentleman from Indio. I don't remember if he was a council member or the city manager, but he had a lot of good ideas, that he shared with us and what they've been able to accomplish for.
Probably this.
And
Almost
maybe we
30
can go
services.
take a tour over there and talk to them
Yeah.
about their facility.
Yeah. So
That'd be great. Thank
Catherine
you.
is working on that for us, and so we should have a notification sometime this coming month. Okay. So
Thank you.
alrighty.
Well, very good. Well, first of all, you were talking about a little office that fits 12 people. That's doesn't happen. A little office will fit 3, so. But first of all, I went to I went to some of the items here mentioned, some of the events. First, the Children's Fair, obviously I heard was a huge success. I wasn't able to attend that, but I want to thank the staff. As always,
Yes.
it's a home run. So
Yes.
I think the success of a lot of the stuff that we do in our city is a direct correlation to our staff's effort. And so always applying them. I would like to take the chance to thank Mayor Pro Tem who has made statements in my absence and in the council as a whole for participating in so many things. I think it is important and to bring it back and allow to educate the rest of us in that. The goal setting meeting, I think had a lot of positives. I think I walked away with that understanding that we have to figure out how to do this collectively. There's setting the goals and then there's the implementation portion. and they have to be married. They have to be able to work constructively together. So as we go through that process, I will continue to enjoy working with the team on that. Just a couple announcements. The Ice Cream Social Market Days, the City of El Centro invites the community. We have a special combined Ice Cream Social Market Day on Friday, May 22nd, 6 to 9 p.m. on 6th and Main Street downtown. Due to the construction, the downtown revitalization project, which is expected to be complete in the fall of 2027. Is that right? 2027? Okay. Both events were brought together, continue to providing a fun and engaging experience for the community. Attendees can enjoy sweet treats, local vendors, music, kids zones, and a part of the summer kickoff celebration. Look on our social media for information. And then the Public Works Expo 2026,
Yay.
bigger than the fair, bigger than children's, no. Service powered by the community. The City of El Centro invites the community to attend the 2026 Public Works Expo on Wednesday, May 10th between 8 a.m. and 12 p.m. here at City Hall Courtyard. This event will highlight the essential services provided by Public Works Department, showcase the infrastructure that supports the community every day. A career presentation will also be held at 10 a.m. in the city, right here at the council chambers. Residents are encouraged to attend, learn more about the role the Public Works plays in El Centro, and again, look on our social media pages for information. And I remember that I know that we've done some of these career oriented events, and I think they are extremely important. I know that different departments have done them. And I think that we have a lot of young minds looking into things, and we certainly want to encourage them to come in and bring good people into our department. And it doesn't matter how old they are. I work with college students. I've worked with high school students, and they are definitely in need of knowing what their options are. So sometimes these career technical options is not even something they're considering until they get a chance to hear about it. And once they do, some lights come on. So I do applaud for having these things, and I think it's a big win for the city.
Yeah.
And with that, that's all I have. And I'd like to ask the city manager if he has his report.
Just a few things. Goal setting, we are working on some follow-up meetings, putting together the notes from the last one so we can build on that. You know, it's interesting that Councilmember Marroquin's going to the JPIA conference. We met with the head of JPIA here last week, Doris Singh from Human Resources, and Alex was here as well, but his supervisors were here and our case manager. So we met with them for about 3 hours last week, and then we were able to give him a tour thanks to Chief Brown of the new police facility. Kind of threw him into the bus at the last minute, and he was very accommodating. I will happen to say that it was the same day they were launching their new CAT RMS system. So a lot of moving parts, a lot of things going on, but he still found time to accommodate JPIA. They were in awe of the new facility. They don't get to visit very many police facilities, and I think they found it to be state of the art and very appealing to them. There's a lot of great comments following that. So special thank you to Dora for sitting in with that, from Human Resources, and Chief Brown for making himself available. I didn't give him much of a heads up. It was kind of a, hey, we're coming over now. Are you available? So he's very accommodating on that. And then lastly, just a reminder that this Friday night is the Peace Officer Memorial. It's an annual event here in the city of El Centro, but it's for countywide, all of our fallen officers and probation officers and so forth, all law enforcement. It's a tribute to their memories and the service that they provide to the community. That will be held in front of the courthouse on Main Street, not the new courthouse. And it will be held at 6 p.m. It's open to all members of the public, and council's invited as well. And that's all I have. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, thank you very much. And if there's no further, it's 2:36. That will conclude our meeting.
Sonia